Hey, and welcome. It is Joe, and who's with me today?
Louise.
Okay, and we're going to be talking about the famed Dr. Kelly and his qualifications as a forensic pathologist, not just a medical examiner.
Correct.
Okay, so Louise, you want to tell everybody a little bit about what's going on?
I can do. So after looking at some of the claims that have been made over the years about Dr. Kelly and his ability and his credentials and his special subjects.
Now, we know he is credentialed as a medical examiner.
Yes, we do. And as a coroner, isn't he?
Right.
As well, he's a
Yep, he was
appointed
elected as a
coroner.
coroner. Yep.
And we had been told by Catherine that Dr. Kelly didn't specialize in forensics, but he specialized in strangulation and some other topics. And after a while, something just didn't make sense because he does death investigations. So you'd think that he would have a knowledge of forensics. So we did a little bit of digging.
A very little bit of digging.
A tiny bit of digging, 5 minutes worth of digging.
Yep. Not even. Absolutely. And we're going to go in there and let's talk about that. But first, should we recap what was said?
I think so.
Okay. Can we see this video right now?
We can, yes. It's Catherine Michelle's video, isn't it? I can't see what the title's called to reference to people.
Yep. It is April 3rd, 2018, interview with Dr. Leon Kelly.
That's the one.
Okay, so here we go.
What I spoke with Dr. Kelly today about, I asked him his background, and he has been a medical examiner from 2007 until present. He got his degree at Indiana University, and he's done right around 4,000 autopsies in his life. He specializes in strangulation and sudden infant death. He doesn't have a forensic background, although he understands some of it. It's not his core background.
Okay, so let's back that up again. I think right about there.
In strangulation and sudden infant death. He doesn't have a forensic background, although he understands some of it. It's not his core background.
Okay, so we all did just hear that, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
That's Catherine's words, not our words.
Right, exactly. We want to bring that right in. That is not what we're saying. That is what Catherine's saying. So let me see if I can get in here. Can you see the screen change or no?
I can, yes.
Okay, so this is now on Google, and this is just a little bit of Dr. Kelly's background. Are you all set?
Yep.
And actually, so obviously this is Dr. Kelly, and he's been on Homicide Hunter with Lieutenant Joe Kendra, medical examiner, etc. So let's go up here. And we're going to look at some of this as well. Okay, here's Dr. Kelly's Facebook page. And let's pause this here. Dr. Leon Kelly is a forensic pathologist. Wait a second. I thought she just said he had no forensic background. Anyways, so he's currently the chief medical examiner and electric coroner for El Paso County, Colorado. Dr. Kelly is board certified in anatomic, clinical, and forensic pathology, and he is a fully licensed physician. He's a graduate of the Indiana University and the University School of Medicine, and so on. But please notice, this is right here in his own about. This is Dr. Kelly's page. This is forensic. He is a forensic pathologist. He is board certified forensic pathology. So anyways, let's continue.
give people time to read it
Yep,
so that
exactly.
they can see that, you know, we haven't changed the words.
Okay, here we go again. This is just saying what the county coroner is responsible for, and that's right from El Paso County, as you can all tell.
And that's where he's based, isn't it?
Yep. And this is explaining to you what the coroner's does.
So it's worth checking out.
Yeah, if you guys don't believe us, you're more than welcome to go and check this out yourself.
But we've definitely seen forensics down there on a couple of different sources now.
Yep, definitely. Okay. Wait, Dr. Leon Kelly, medical doctor, forensic pathology. Look at that. And this is on ShareCare, and it's their look as to what he is. Dr. Leon Kelly is a forensic pathology specialist in Colorado Springs, Colorado. He is certified in anatomic and clinical pathology.
So he definitely knows forensics.
Yep. Oh, I think we're going to be talking about that in a few seconds. Back to his Facebook page again.
So they're all El Paso, all Dr. Leon Kelly.
Mm-hmm. This is his El Paso County Coroner's page that you just saw. Back to the coroner's office again. Dr. Kelly. Oh, I see why.
Is it repeating itself?
Well, no. It says has the only on-site forensic toxicology lab. Again, forensic toxicology, forensic toxicologist. I mean, we're seeing forensics all over the place.
I think it's quite clear that he's definitely well in with forensics
Mm-hmm.
and you know, and death investigations.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, my understanding is he's actually been called to other states, not just Colorado, for testifying in cases with his, forensic pathology background.
I believe you're correct, Joe.
Let's see what else we find here.
I think it's just showing us pretty much what
Okay.
we've already just
Okay.
seen.
So
But that's cool.
let's pause this screen share for a second. And we will go into, let me see what we can find here. Okay, yeah. So let's go into, for some reason, it's not popping up. There's forensic. Oh, here we go, right here. So we were just talking about Dr. Kelly's forensic background and how he actually testified in cases as a forensic pathologist. Can you see that, Louise?
I can, yes.
Okay, this is the case of Jason Thad Payne, and the state of Texas went after him. Notice under Section B, now this can be found on caselaw.findlaw.com, or you can run Jason Thad Payne and Texas in your Google search, and you will come up with this. Section B, forensic evidence. Okay. Testifying on the behalf of the state of Texas, Dr. Leon Kelly, a forensic pathologist, and he explained why he believed Adam's autopsies resulted in an undetermined manner of death. Okay. It goes on in here to say how Dr. Kelly has performed like 300 of this type of autopsy.
Is it gunshot?
Yep, gunshot autopsies. He's done 3,000 of them. So, I mean, it's just now, what exactly is a forensic pathologist, you might ask? Forensic pathologist for a medical examiner is a forensic pathologist is a physician who practices medicine as it deals with the law. He or she performs autopsies to determine the cause and the manner of death and also testifies in court as an expert witness, mind you. This requires a DO or an MD degree from medical school, a residency in pathology, and the completion of a fellowship in, wait, forensic pathology. So Dr. Kelly would have did this forensic stuff, okay, and got certified as a forensic pathologist during his schooling.
But Catherine said that he didn't specialize in forensics.
I just,
So, oh my goodness.
I mean,
How can he do the job?
Right,
And
exactly. Yep. How could he do a forensic pathology job if indeed he was not a forensic pathologist? I just, don't understand that.
and to
So,
testify as an expert witness as well.
absolutely.
I think
Absolutely.
somebody's got their wires crossed a little bit, but that's the thing, isn't it? It's not having wires crossed. This is deliberate
Well,
disinformation.
well, also, Louise, we got to remember, okay, Dr. Kelly did in fact, and if they look at the other videos that we put, that were put up recently, Dr. Kelly did state that he did not say 7 to 10 days. He said that he agreed with the investigators. But we've got some, Dr. Kelly's not the only one who agreed that it was not 7 to 10 days. Okay, let's go on to this. Who posted this?
Dan Hennon.
And it says Dr. Kelly had some info I liked, and he provided some info that I didn't personally agree with. I think his opinion that the bodies were only there for 1 week is something that most folks won't agree with, but that's fine. It is what it is. We can agree to disagree. So this looks to me like even Dan Hennon is questioning the 7 to 10 day narrative. Now, we're going to go something else. Let's just back out of here. And we will go to this conversation between Paulette Nab Brown and Catherine Michelle. So, Catherine Michelle, I heard from Catherine Michelle, if I'm not mistaken, they were killed at the earliest January 10th, which is 7 days before they were found, or thereabout. They had only been dead for a maximum of 1 week when they were found. Now, mind you, this was 1 year ago. Okay, so Catherine Michelle responds that she was told by Dr. Kelly, a medical examiner, the bodies were dead for 4 to 7 days, 10 days at most. Yet in her video, she says, Dr. Kelly says they were dead for 7 to 10 days. Then Catherine herself said she believed they were dead for 4 to 7 days.
And these are only a year ago, and yet it was 2018 and we're in 2021 now. So those were written last year.
Yep. Now,
which is still 2 years after Dr. Kelly has been
interviewed
saying, interviewed and saying, Catherine, I didn't say that.
Yep, and exactly. He literally said, Catherine, I didn't say that. Judy, I didn't say that. Joe, I didn't say that. And another individual as well. We've already shown in previous videos the conversations between Dr. Kelly and everybody. Also, it's kind of funny because Paulette says, I remembered that from one of your broadcasts, Catherine, but I wasn't sure of the Emmy's name, so I didn't want to misquote. I knew you would come behind me and clarify. Okay. I mean, what was clarified? Because
Nothing.
even no, and actually, even Dan, questioned the 7 to 10 day narrative.
It's just madness, absolute madness. And this poor guy, his career is being questioned and disputed in his ability to
Well,
do
not
a
ju-
job
not
that,
just not
that
just that.
Catherine's decided he doesn't have qualifications to do,
Well, that's what I'm
because
saying.
because
Exactly.
Catherine's more qualified as a basic EMT than a forensic pathologist or a medical examiner.
Well, remember, for those of you who don't know, you can look this up as well. A medical examiner has to go through, and a pathologist, you've just seen it, forensic pathologist, they have to go through over 12 years of training. They have to get certified as a medical doctor. They have to get certified as a pathologist. There's all kinds of, and then they have to go through the training to be a medical examiner. When you add up all the training, that's 12 years. So you're telling me that an emergency medical technician, okay, basic, with no extra qualifications or certifications. Yes, 1,000 hours of Red Cross volunteerism. Okay, but 12 years as opposed to 1,000, or I'll even double it, 2,000 hours. Okay, 2,000 hours. Okay,
And the
versus
12
12
years
years.
is just for the training, not even taking into account the time that he's been working.
Yeah, I mean, it's just totally, totally insane. And then on top of it, you guys just saw this with your own 2 eyes, heard it with your own 2 ears. This is what we keep going over and over again. You're getting told, don't listen to them, they're lying. That was not us talking, that was her. That was her telling you Dr. Kelly was not a trained pathologist or forensic pathologist. Yet you have seen in his own bio, in the bio for the coroner's office, and he testified as a forensic pathologist in Texas and many other states. I mean,
They're professionals. It's the same with Ken Maines. These people are professionals. They're not just winging it.
well, this is the thing too. I mean, here you go. So Apple Valley got it wrong. Wait, actually, let's back this up a little bit. Apple Valley PD gets on scene. Apple Valley PD calls in the Bureau of Criminal Apprehension, BCA, who literally writes the procedures and protocols for just about every forensic place in the whole country. Okay. Now they in turn also call in the Dakota County Sheriff's Department, the Hennepin County Coroner's Office,
Medical
the,
examiner. Sorry.
okay, the medical examiner's office. Okay, it's similar, but yeah, I get you.
But
Anyways,
it was the county, not just the local.
right, exactly, and they also called in, okay, the Dakota County Attorney's Office. So you got all these people involved in this investigation, and Apple Valley supposedly screwed up or is covering up. BCA is supposedly the Dakota County Sheriff's Department, the ME's office, not to mention they're poisoning people when, my God, it wasn't even the same coroner's office or medical examiner's office. I mean, really? Untraceable. This sounds like something out of a spy movie. It really does. It's nothing but conspiracy and conjecture. It's nothing but, like it's one of those things where you're sitting around a campfire and you say the little spooky story thing. Okay. I mean, it's ridiculous. It really is. And people are buying this hook, line, and sinker. And then to top everything off, all these agencies are wrong or covering it up. So let's spend $7,000 to get a private investigator to look over everything. And I know for a fact if I pay him $7,000, he'll see things my way, only to come back and say, I agree 100% with what the investigators said. I mean, you got AVPD saying David killed his family. You have the BCA saying the same thing. You have other agencies saying the same thing. And then you hire a PI and the PI says the same thing. And mind you, before the PI rendered his decision, he was the greatest thing since sliced bread. And actually, Ken Maines is a professional and he's a very qualified professional.
Yeah. And not forgetting that both the families also accept that David did this.
Yep.
And David's friends, they also accept that David did this because
Yep.
they've all seen things that no one else has seen. I mean, we've seen more things than we've put out, and we know
Definitely.
that we've seen more things than what the other group have got. And that's not even a scratch on what the family and the friends have seen. And
Louise,
it's
go
what
ahead. You're
it's
saying you're saying you're saying we've seen things like the gun made of hair, even though the manufacturer identified it as the gun.
exactly. I mean, they could even point out that the brand of the grip
Yep.
cover and about the safety. I mean, I don't even know exactly what that is because I'm not, I don't really know a great deal about handguns and well, any kind of gun really. So yeah, for them to be able to pick that out and verify independently that that is indeed a Springfield XD on the floor by David.
Exactly.
But the friends and the family, they've seen more photos than we'll ever see. They've seen journal entries. They know David and Camille, and things that might not have made sense to them before their passing will have started to have made more sense
Well, let me
when they realize what they've done.
let me say this to you because you brought this up. Okay. And not only have you brought this up, but I'm going to get into this part further. You brought up that the family has seen more photos and more of that report than anybody, the other group, us, anybody has seen, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's just stay with the photo part. Did or did not Greg Fernandez specifically ask Detective Gummert, are there more photos? And Detective Gummert told him there are hundreds more.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, so the family's seen photos that the other group hasn't seen. And guess what? They're not entitled to see. You're not entitled to see these other reports. You're not entitled to see these other pictures. I mean, listen, Louise has brought this up before. Okay. Louise doesn't know David Crowley. I don't know David Crowley. Catherine does not personally know David Crowley. Dan Hennon does not know David Crowley. Greg Fernandez and even what's his name? The guy that just started
William.
Yeah, there you go. Rails doesn't know him either. Okay, from
And
Adam.
you're forgetting somebody else.
Oh yeah,
You know,
Sophia.
number one fan.
Is it yeah, the number one obsessed fan, Sophia. Yep.
No
So
one can say. I mean, even in the documentary, you've got Dan and Greg saying, we know for a fact that David Crowley wouldn't write Allah Akbar on the wall in his wife's blood. Well, you don't know that for a fact because you don't know them.
well, you asked some questions a while back, and I want the listeners who think they know David Crowley through the videos, our videos, the other group videos, etc. Louise, you asked some questions a while back about knowing David Crowley. You had questions about, different things like colors and stuff like that. Can you ask those questions?
I can. For example, what is David's favorite color? What's David's favorite book? What's Kamel's favorite meal to cook? What's Rani's favorite movie? What's her favorite toy? Where's their favorite holiday place? I can't answer them because I don't know, but I don't pretend that I know. And that I don't go around saying David wouldn't do that. David wouldn't mean that. Kamel wouldn't mean that. Because I don't know. I don't have that right to speak for them.
And
We can suggest things and say maybe they might have been thinking like this, or maybe they might have been thinking like that. But that's completely different to saying they wouldn't do that, they wouldn't think that, they wouldn't do that.
So Louise, I got another question for you.
Okay.
Who would know David Crowley other than David, Kamel, etc.?
David's parents, Kamel's parents,
Mm-hmm.
David and Kamel's friends, their family, the people who they hung out with, people who they grew up with, spent time with. I'd imagine that they would know. Sean, Danny, Mason. Oh, and can we just get this out because I'm sick of seeing this.
Okay.
Oh my God. But it's in the names, Mason, Crowley. David's not related to Alistair Crowley. And so what if someone's name is Mason? Get a grip. It is a lame excuse to try and blame 3 people's deaths on someone's blooming name.
Well, here's another thing too. Not for anything, but Mason's a pretty common name.
Yeah, it's kind of revolved itself, hasn't it? It's come back into fashion, and it's like since the 90s, 80s, 90s, it's come back around.
Actually, Louise, I wanna do something. We're gonna do this off screen while we're talking. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm gonna send you a friend's name. Don't say the name.
Okay.
But let me ask you to just, as far as Mason being a common name. Okay.
Okay.
Right. Take a look at your instant messaging right now. That is a fellow paramedic, by the way. But wait, it's a she. Does that mean she gets a pass on this?
Well, she's can't be in or connected to that, can they?
Well, they would say it, but you just saw the last name Mason. Okay. So I mean, it's like it's a common name. I mean, I just
completely.
okay. And what's funny? I mean, they also bring up and try to discredit people. Like they tried to discredit different people. And I mean, recently they just tried to, discredit Danny because of an arrest and all this other stuff. Okay. There's plenty of people that we know that were arrested now, don't we?
There certainly are.
Okay.
Certainly are. And they're
Yep.
closer than you think.
Yeah, exactly. And you guys are actually believing some of them.
Exactly. You know, so if you want to do some digging on people's backgrounds, look closer to home,
Yeah.
because all is
Exactly.
not what it seems.
And I mean, I think it's pretty funny too that the great researchers would actually put information that they thought they had and then go and put it all over the place. And then even Greg Fernandez had to say, no, that's not that individual.
I know. I mean, it's like, you know, we've seen the veiled threats about Tom Lydon and a tweet from like 2013 or something like that.
Mhm.
And he didn't even say anything specific, but it was just a drunken
Yeah, it's pretty
tweet.
it's pretty funny.
It's completely, it's hilarious because it's the extent that people will go to try and connect some dot and take any opportunity, take a cheap shot to try and spoil someone's career.
Mhm.
Dirty tricks.
Well,
And,
like I
and yet
said,
we're all supposed to believe, based on their opinion and absolutely zero evidence, that they hold the key and the secret
well,
to
I need to,
the
I need,
great death investigation that's
well,
been covered up by all these agents that even you know, the whole world's involved, because you can ask an expert in India and they'll still say, yeah, animal scavenging, yeah, the timeline's there, and they'll still come out and go, they're covering it up, they're involved too. It's pathetic.
well, didn't we just see some things too recently where um the individuals, not just Sean, not just Danny, not Reaper, there were other individuals too that got booted from the justice group. I mean, how many, let me ask you a question, how many people in the justice group right now are David Crowley's friends that knew him, mind you?
There might be, like, I'd say there might be one person in there, but they don't really say anything. I don't even know whether they're still in there, but I think there was one. I think everybody else had got booted.
Everybody else got booted, and just a simple yes or no, you don't have to identify, etc. How many well, are there any people connected with this case in the Crowley case, facts versus fiction?
Yeah, there's a
Several.
few people, and there's people who might not be in the group, but they're still in touch with us
Mhm.
behind the scenes.
Yep. Matter of fact, not even 3 days ago, you saw an email I got from one of them.
Yeah,
So, I mean, we're in constant contact with people connected with this case. We've seen different things literally within the last few weeks that, you know, we're not going to disclose, but we can sure tell you that there's stuff that you can look at those pictures all day long. Well, actually, you should look at those pictures because people love zooming in on the couch, for instance, you know, because there was MASO and SEA. Okay, supposedly written in blood on the couch. No. Nice try though. Nice try. Okay. Because you know what? Not to incriminate myself, but my last name ends MASO. And I sure the hell would get accused, but I've never been to Minnesota.
Well, you're nobody unless you've been accused.
Well, you remember when I think it was Rail or somebody came up with gang stalking?
Yes.
Okay. I kind of consider it stalking, period, to go on somebody's Facebook page and take off photos of a gravestone right after somebody was buried. I'd say it was pretty much stalking to try and attend someone's memorial, not to memorialize them, but to try and dig.
Get information because you think that you're right over the target. And Dan's always said from the start that he believes that the friends are involved, etc., etc. And if he causes a big enough divide, they'll turn on each other and everything. Well, you've been going for 6.5 years and chuffles happened.
Nothing. Yeah, exactly. Nobody's turned on anybody because there's nothing to turn on.
Exactly.
And then let's jump back. The deal. Oh my God, the deal.
The negotiation.
Is exactly what it was. I want to challenge anybody. Go back. Now, mind you, what I'm telling you was recorded by Dan Hennon and even has Dan Hennon himself stating there was no contract. Okay. And let's get something else straight across the board because people just can't comprehend this. Okay. $30 million for a budget and A-list actors. Hey, guess what? That 30 million, that's going to pay for props. It's going to pay for those A-list actors, and the money's not going to David.
Exactly. It's going to the runners, the scene creators and stage set builders, the cameramen, the sound men, the lighting people, the riggers.
Yep. The
And
editors.
everybody else. Yeah.
Yep.
Solicitors or lawyers in American
We're
terms.
we're not saying that David would not have gotten any money, but you guys are totally confusing things. $30 million
A lot of
for a
things.
budget. Yeah. Well, for everything. $30 million, but for a budget is not, hey, David, here's this check for 30 million. Okay. I mean, I just, would he have gotten some money? Probably. Oh, and yes, speaking as a paralegal, but not just as a paralegal. Okay. I recently asked a question, okay, to New York film producers.
Yeah.
And okay, so you saw that. Um, just an FYI, as far as people shopping around to try to get rich, when you are the estate of someone, okay, you legally have to settle their bills and complete any unfinished business. And that means selling, okay, the script or peddling the script. Okay. That's your job as an executor. So maybe you guys should go look that up as well. And I mean, I can't believe a lot of what I've heard over the years. I really can't.
So you mean it's not family and friends trying to exploit, it's them trying to do the right thing and legal obligation by trying to sell or get a deal.
Let me ask you a question, Louise. Okay. And members of the justice group, each and every one of you, I'm asking the same question to. Louise, have you ever heard of somebody making a last request or someone making a request and then they pass away and then people try to make that wish come true?
Yeah.
What was the most important thing to David right up to the end?
Apart from his family, the film.
Right, Gray State.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're trying to get the script and the screenplay made into a film because there is no film.
So let me ask you, if you were friends or family, would you do that to honor somebody?
Of course.
There you go. I don't know. Would any of you guys do that? And I'm going to tell you something else too. You may think that you are honoring David by doing what you're doing right now. All you're doing is making that whole the family who is alive, you're making miserable. The three individuals who left this earth, okay, in December and were found in January, you probably have them doing donuts in their grave.
Exactly. You know, it's not anybody but the family's place to be taking things further should they have any issue with the findings, and they don't. So if they can accept it, then you should respect them and you should let it go, because they know more, you know. And you can keep kidding yourselves, telling yourselves that you're doing this for David. You're not doing it for David, you're doing it for yourselves, and you're harming people in the process. And it looks like you're getting a kick out of it, to be honest.
Well, I think myself that, people just are just looking to see pictures of bodies. They just have this morbid fascination with this case. It's not a let's get justice. Because if you were just out to get justice, you wouldn't be slandering people. Louise, you know what? This needs to get said too. Okay. So far, I have seen a wet team from the government, and as recently as 2018, mind you, a wet team from the government. Okay. And if you don't do what I tell you to, I'm going to put that out there. Okay. Then let's take each and every person David knew. Danny Mason, Eric Sayward, Sean Wright. I lost
David's
track.
brother,
Yeah, his brother, his father,
Mason
my
Hendricks,
God.
Chris Peck, Chris Klein,
Everybody.
Mike's Entertainment Group, because you know they could have been after it. Other entertainment industries, the Freemasons, the
All-
deep state, the government, the
all
Clintons.
these things, all these people have been accused. Why don't you all, since you want to look at these videos and you want to believe these videos, go look at each and every one of those videos, because you know what? You got the strange case of Danny Mason. You got the strange case of
They can't because the channels are down.
true. The channels are down. But you know what? I'm sure that Catherine herself has made several accusations that are available on her channel.
Well, yeah, and if they're not available on a channel, just look for the brown paper with a big list on the back with all the people who have been
Exactly.
accused.
Yep. All kinds of people have been accused. Take a good list, a good look at that list, because you know why? Because I believe, I'm not sure, but I believe that at one point, the Meg or Mike Entertainment Group got accused of being a people of interest,
Yeah.
or they committed murder. And by golly, a couple days later, I just want to clarify.
Yes.
Did somebody's attorney contact somebody?
I mean, the thing is, you know, no one is saying that bad things don't happen, you know, and that the governments, you know, governments are capable of these secret
Oh, absolutely.
things,
Absolutely.
you know. No one's saying that that doesn't happen. And there's all sorts of horrible, seedy things that do go on in the world. But if you make out that every single thing that happens in the world is down to that, then you're taking away from the cases where they genuinely are in, you know, those kinds of things. You're taking the attention away from them, because by saying that everything is a sinister government plot, people just start going, whatever. And then they don't go and look at all of the other things that you're on about, because they just think we keep saying everything is like everything. There's no such thing as suicide, and people don't do these tragic things and kill their families when they do. unfortunately. Not everything is, a government hit.
Actually, I gotta tell you, you were just talking about people killing their families.
Yeah.
Well, I gotta tell you, a couple years ago, they picked up this guy for killing his family years and years ago. Okay. And an individual from the other group sent me pictures. Okay. Way before he got caught. And that person was saying, look at these pictures. This looks just like David's. I bet you it's the same as David. The government got them. The government got them. John List. John List, is that the same John List that was arrested for killing his family? The government did it. List already admitted to doing it.
It's just tragic, and it's sad because it seems to be happening more often.
Well,
you
with
know
COVID,
the-
with COVID and the lockdowns, I mean, here's the thing. There must have been something going on, okay, in a lot of these cases where people thought that any place is better than here. Maybe
yeah,
I can get something better.
yeah. I mean, it's like a lot of people, and it's not anything, whatever anyone believes, that's down to them. It's personal choice, and that's fine and fair enough. But you can't say that if someone believes in God but doesn't believe in Jesus, or vice versa. You
Mhm.
can't say that one is more right than the other, because nobody knows until you're at that point. And there are other people who believe in like sun worshipping, and other people believe in tree hugging and worshiping. You can worship anything, and you're entitled to that belief. And that's what can get people, if you find comfort in thinking that something is going to happen after death,
Mhm. Well,
then that's gonna, if like this world is becoming absolutely so dire and painful to get through on a daily basis, and if you think that you're going to find peace in death, then the more you start thinking about that, the more you could find yourself being swayed towards that. I'm not advocating that, but it's trying to understand why people do. And people, every day people are committing suicide and people are suffering, and they just, it's not that they want to die, it's they don't want to suffer anymore.
here's the other thing, Louise, and this is not a shameless plug, okay? I I do a podcast. It's been featured in the news, the whole
It's a
nine.
shameless plug. It's a shameless plug. No,
No,
I
no,
know,
no.
I'm
But we
pulling you
talked
now.
about this before. Okay. Most of the people I interview are in for murder. Okay.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, in the upcoming weeks, there's at least 3 family annihilators I'm going to be speaking to. And then those are going to get released. And I'm going to tell you, I've said it before to you, and I'm going to say again so people can hear it. I'm going to ask the individuals when they killed their families, what were they thinking about? What were they feeling, especially after the family members were gone? Then I'm going to literally not say a name, but I'm going to say, that I'm familiar with this thing that went on and da da da. You know, if this was you, does this sound similar to what your case is?
Yeah.
Okay. And then let's see because, hey, if you've done it, you sure know what's going through somebody's head.
Correct. I've got a horrible feeling though that someone's going to pipe up and go, well, that's not actually true because I know somebody
Yeah, exactly.
and they told me.
Well. We know somebody too now, don't we?
We do.
I believe it might even be the same person.
I think it might be. Having a psychic moment there, Joe.
Hmm. Okay, so we're gonna end this now. it's going on for a while. So unless there's something else you want to go over.
No, I think that we've covered most of what we wanted to cover in our little chat. I mean, it's just like a normal kind of phone call for us, really, isn't it? It's just
Yep.
hanging out with Joe and Lou.
Well, here's the other thing too. Okay, before we go, Greg Fernandez, you have told everybody out there in one of your videos, and I'm in full agreement with you. So is Louise. Research, research, research. Do your own research. Don't listen to what one group's saying. Don't listen to the other group either. Go and look at the paperwork, the documentation, and then look at the videos out there. Look at what's out there that is actually showing you documentation, showing you what's what, and what's just nothing but a bunch of hot air, and then make your
Exactly.
decision.
Yep.
There's-
Watch
there-
Greg's
there's-
videos. Watch Catherine's
Do
videos.
they even watch Greg's videos
Watch-
anymore?
I don't know. Watch the videos. Watch William Rail on Twitch. Get everybody's opinion. Watch our things, because we haven't got anything to hide. We know that we've provided evidence, and if you watch the videos, you'd
If
see
you-
the evidence, and you
Exactly.
might be surprised.
Exactly.
You might
We're
go,
not just
"I've never
saying,
seen that before."
right. We are not just saying things. We're saying things and we're showing it to you. Okay. As a matter of fact, isn't there a picture on one of those?
There's also electronic reports that have not been seen before. But if you don't want to look at them and you don't want to read them, then that's your prerogative. But don't say that you're open-minded and you're out for justice, because you're not. You're out for a one-sided story to make somebody a hero when someone was suffering, and you're making people suffer just
I
for your
don't-
own benefit.
I don't think it's somebody trying to be a hero. I think it's more along the lines of they just want people to continue to suffer. They don't want people to have closure.
Exactly. But on that note,
We'll be seeing you with the next video, and I think there's going to be some interesting things to not only hear but see.
I concur. I can't wait.
Bye, guys.
Bye.